Howdy, everyone. Matt here, Matt the PT, coming at you with another topic on something else that we see in the physical therapy world. First and foremost, I'd like to thank everyone who has subscribed to the channel. Thank you so much for doing that. That little click and doing that does mean a whole lot to little old me. And of course, if you like this video, hit that thumbs up button, share it with your friends or whomever. And of course, if you have an opinion, a belief, or anything to talk about, please comment it down below. I do feel that communication is very, very important and key about these things, that we talk about the stuff that we deal with and that we see, and that can possibly lead to better things. What I want to talk about, something it's probably just kind of goofy. It's probably something that's not super huge, and it's not like, but it's something that it's there, and it's something that kind of bothers me a little bit, and I hope I don't come off as like being a grouchy old man. I mean, only in my 40s, but it's dealing with job recruiters. Now, I'm going to lead off and say they're not bad. I have gotten several positions from talking to a recruiter reaching out and contacting me saying, hey, we have a position. We would like to communicate with you. We would like to interview you, and we think you'll be a great fit. That's great. Like I said, I've done that. I've gotten some good positions on that. I've got friends, family, and all that who have done that from dealing with a recruiter reaching out and placing them in a position. And they're like, I love my job. And all because of this person that helped me over here. So like I said, it's not bad. But I will say, it's just a couple little things about it. And I've talked about this with a few people, and they've kind of dealt with it a little bit. I just want to kind of bring it out to the masses on that. If you've dealt with a recruiter at any point, you probably have. By the time that you start reaching the end of PT school, they're starting to hit you up. Calls, texts, voice, calls, call, emails, texts. They're hitting you up, trying to get you into positions and things like that. And of course, if you go to a conference, you're going to get a mass of emails, and you're going to get a ton of them after that as well. So you just kind of know, you go to CSM, be ready for the next month. You're just going to get a mass of them. You're going to be unsubscribing if you're not interested. But like I was saying, they're kind of good to kind of keep on hand in case that you need something. But the thing that really gets me, it's one of the things that gets me, is when those mass emails that they just send out to a ton of people. And I got a couple things I just don't like about them. Okay. First and foremost, the thing I don't like about them, it's kind of minor. If they lead off with, hey, we got this position here. I feel like that's really impersonal. Because if you don't, when I'm working as a PT, I present myself differently to people, colleagues, and stuff like that. And, granted, yes, if you do get to know me, I can be funny and goofy and things like that. But usually those first interactions, you want to have a professional. This is a profession. We're professionals. But I feel like when they hit off with, hey, I'm like, it's not very, we're not starting off on a good foot. We're not starting off on like a very professional type deal. And I've emailed back several of them and said, like, my name is not Hey. And they said, well, we just sent us a mass email out. I'm like, that just kind of irks me a little bit. Now, granted, I know companies will send out stuff. Hey, we got the sale going on. Or, hey, like, okay, I kind of expect it for that. But as a recruiter that's coming to me on this, like, kind of just makes me feel like I'm just some schmo out there that's like, we're just casting net. We're hoping that we're going to get a good one. Now, the other big thing, this is the biggest thing that I really kind of get. And maybe if somebody is a job recruiter for healthcare, you can chime in on this and please kind of let us know. And maybe you can take this to some of your bosses as well. Let them know. But I have an issue if I get an email, and I just got one of these a couple weeks ago, that starts off or it says something in there about that you've read my resume, that you like my experience, or that my resume stands out, because that portrays that you've read it or you've looked at it. Okay. That you've seen it. And I've tried to put a good amount of work into my resume to make sure that I do look good on there and keep it updated just in case of anything that comes along, which I would suggest to anybody, keeping your resume updated and you making it look good. But here's the thing, like I got the other day. It says, "Hi, Matt. You have let your resume speak for yourself." So I take that as saying that this person has seen my resume. They've read it. They've looked at it. Okay, so we saw Matt's resume and we said, hey, this job that I have is going to be perfect for him. Extremely inclined towards talking to you for a physical therapist assistant. And it lists the area. So let me know the best time and to call. What gets me about that is I'm not a physical therapist assistant. I'm not talking bad about them. But if you looked at my resume in any capacity, physical therapist PT is listed several times. I have my credentials on there. I have my license on there. I have everything. So many times it says physical therapist on there. It's like, okay, so you obviously did not look at it or read it and sent me that. And I emailed the person back. I said, why did you lie? Why are you lying in this email? And they're like, what are you talking about? I said, you sent that you read my resume. This line here means that you read my resume or have seen it. And you're sending me a job that does not match up with my resume. And they just blew me off and they would not respond on it. And I emailed them a couple more times on it. And they just, granted, that just shows like you don't even apologize to say like, oh, I'm sorry. And we just send it. So of course I would not use this company any further, if they ever reach back out, because it's like, okay, that's how you are. But I posted this on a couple social media sites and I've had other people say, I've had the same thing happen. I've had them send me positions, when they're a physical therapist and got sent for a PTA job, or they were a physical therapist assistant and got sent for PT jobs. Of course, our licenses are not the same. We can't fill those roles. Granted, maybe they have a different role, but you can't do that. I've had people that said that they were reached out about nursing positions as a physical therapist. Like, you can't do a nursing, if you're looking for an RN, you can't do that as a PT, or physicians or stuff like that. It's like, no, they're like, yeah, I've gotten those in the past. Now, granted, I know they're just mass emails that you're sending out and casting this wide net, but come on, seriously? You couldn't screen it? Or at least I would say the thing is, take out the thing like that. It makes it sound like you read the resume on it. At least take that part out. I wouldn't fault you if you sent me a job, just, hey, here's a potential job for you that I think would be great. Or like, hey, here we have a job posting here. Are you interested in it? Something like that. Okay, that shows like, okay, you're just casting a net. You don't know me. But when you say something like you've read my resume or seen my experience, that portrays like you know who you are talking to and that you know what position that you are, that you're trying to place me into. Now, kind of piggybacking off that a little bit, another thing that gets me is that when, again, they say something about, oh, your resume or your experience, and we really like it, and we're interested, we got this job for you. I am at a point in my career where I will straight up ask them, what is the pay? What's the salary? How much does this job pay? Because where I am now, that's what I'm looking at on it. Because, you get to work with, the things like, continuing ed or a mentor and all that stuff. I know what I want to do. I understand those things. I'm looking for pay. I want to make sure that I am able to pay my bills, to set aside stuff for retirement. That's what I'm looking for on it. And I don't want to waste any time going forward with an interview or back and forths or anything like that if the pay does not even match up with what I am looking for or would even consider on it. And I think many people would believe that too, would probably agree with that. If you do, let me know about it. Now, granted, there are other things that people do look at and take into consideration. But for me, and I know many people, you don't make a car payment Well, I got to work with a mentor. Okay, cool. But when is that check coming in? And I will straight up tell places, I work for money. Okay. If you want me, you're going to have to pay me, whatever this amount is, or let me know. And so then the recruiter sometimes will send back, oh, we need to see your resume. And then you're like, wait a minute. Did you just, again, we pointed out, you made it sound like you've read it and seen it. So how come you don't know? Now, granted, yes, I do know that they're often just given this position by somebody. Hey, try to find this somebody for this spot on it. And they just want to get you in and then hand you off. But good gracious, at least have that to come and talk with it. Because again, I don't want to go through that. Going through an interview, setting aside time and be like, wow, that was a waste of time because they were going to pay way less than what I wanted. Now, the thing I will actually do as well is I will tell them, hey, I want $125,000 on it. I want $125,000 because you're going to come in with this kind of experience. So I've got 14 years of experience. I've been a director for many different companies, many different states. I have, my diploma in MDT. I'm a fellow. I have all this experience. I have this. You are going to be paying, or whomever is going to be paying for a good therapist. And I do believe that I would say that myself, that I'm a good therapist. And I would hope every single one of you would say the same thing, that you are a good therapist. I had a boss tell me that one time. He said, who's the best therapist in the room? You should all believe that you're the best one. And it's to have that confidence that you are a good therapist. And I do believe that you are all very good therapists. But to say, hey, this employer, they're seeing this stuff. That's what you're paying for. You're paying for quality. And I don't tell them. And they'll sometimes come back and be like, well, maybe it's not that. It's like, are you wanting good outcomes? Are they wanting to get people better? Are they wanting those things that they tell us that they want? I said, or are they just wanting somebody to run people through exercises and then just keep a seat warm while they do their notes? And, they don't respond to that. And I was like, okay, well, really, it's like, what about your position? So are you not the best person in your position? To the recruiter, are you not the best person for your position? Or could you be fired today and tomorrow fill it in and there's no difference in it? So that's how we'll bring it up on there. So another thing was not to bash job recruiters. Like I said, it's good to have those. If you are looking for a position, I do keep it open and I will talk to recruiters time to time. You never know what's out there. Like I said, I have been able to get into some interesting jobs and positions and make connections with people through talking to a recruiter and kind of staying on their radar, and maybe something they propose to me. You know what? Maybe I'm just not looking at that right now. I'm just not really interested in that right now. But who knows what happens in 6 months, a year, 2 years, 10 years, whatever. Something may change. I may want a change of scenery, just something else. And so, yes, reaching out to them and doing that. But I will say, if you're a recruiter, can we just get rid of that part? Just, if you didn't see the resume or experience or whatnot, take that part out. Just don't even make it sound like you saw the resume or anything. That you're just like, hey, we got this job and we're trying to look for somebody for this job on it. Don't put that in there. And of course, find out about like the actual benefits and stuff like that. And like in the, what is it paying? What are the benefits? Let us know on that. And also take out some of the goofy stuff. I saw one, no nights and weekends. Duh. I wouldn't expect any PTs that work nights and weekends. I know some that will work on some weekends, but I've seen that in like outpatient, private practices. Oh, no nights and weekends. Well, I certainly daggum hope so, because ain't nobody going to be doing that, which is kind of, also kind of bad that you have to list that as a perk. But anyway, just my 2 cents on it. Maybe that would help. Try it. See how it does. Maybe you get a better, rate of whatever that y'all measure on that. So, of course, if you like this video, hit that thumbs up button. If you have a comment or belief or anything about that, drop that down below. Let me know. Let me know your thoughts and feelings and whatever else that you have about that. Maybe I'm totally wrong on this. Maybe that you're like, oh, you're just being a grumpy old man over this whole thing. It's not a big deal. Maybe it's not a big deal. Who knows? It's just a little something that we can chat about. We can. And of course, subscribe to that channel. I hope you all have a great week. Take care of yourselves. Take care of your patients. And I will see you all next time.